Right, good day grade 10s and welcome to our practical video where I'm going to take you through our recent practical test that we've done. Shouldn't take long, but I'm going to go step by step through everything so that you can understand, obviously where you went wrong, things like that. Also, for those who haven't written this test, please check out the link in the description. That's going to take you to my Google Drive. And in there, you can go to the grade 10 folder, go to the practical test folder, and you can get all the documents there. It'll be the data files folder, it'll be the question paper and the memo. Okay, so let's look at the question paper. Let's see our scenario. And it says, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the one aspect that touched our lives daily were the wearing of masks. Where before we seldom thought of masks, we now are aware of them, every moment. So that's the scenario with which we are going to tackle our practical. This practical focused on Excel and spreadsheets. Okay. Yes, of course. Sorry, and our presentation. This practical test focused on spreadsheets, in other words, Microsoft Excel, and then our PowerPoint presentations as well. So let's go to the top. Let's go to question 1. They want us to open the spreadsheet flash drives and do the following. So let's go and open, let's go to our data files. Let's open up flash drives and let's see then what they want us to do. Okay, let me just get that spreadsheet over onto this side. Right, there we go. So this is our spreadsheet. You can see we have one tab open. This is all of the info over here. Okay, so that's all fine. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. Okay, so let's go and see what they wanted us to do. First thing is format the date in cell A1 to display in the format 5 June 2012. So if we go back, they want us to make a display in a different way. They want it to be 5 June 2012. In other words, day, one day, then the whole month name displayed. So not just but September, and then the year. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to right click on that cell. We need to go down to format cells, and we're going to go onto our number tab. Now, if we just go to date, you can see we don't really have anything like that except this one over here. Okay, so that should be sufficient for what we need. If we need anything else, we will have to go to custom and we'll have to actually type in exactly what we want over here. But for what they're asking us to do, that should be fine. Okay, so that's first things first. Right, 1.2, enter the cell phone number. And there they give us a cell phone number in cell F1. So where are we? F1. Now, please remember, when you enter a cell phone number, what's going to happen? Excel will not display the 0 at the beginning. Okay, because it doesn't count, in like 0, 1, 2, 3. It counts in the format 1, 2, 3. So what we need to do is change the format of the cell. We're going to go to the number. And we're going to make sure that we select text and we click OK. Alternatively, if you haven't done it there, you can go up here. I'm just going to undo that. We're going to go to our home tab, number section over here. And we're going to scroll down until we find text. Now, it doesn't change the number, does it? No. We've only formatted what is going to be in or inserted into the cell. So let's type out the number again. And now you can see the 0 remains at the beginning. Okay, so we sorted with that. So please remember, if you need to enter a cell phone number, do the format cells to text or just change it over here first before entering the number. Next one, make the headings in cell B4 to G4 run in the opposite direction so that they read from the bottom to the top. Kind of like what's happening here. B4 to G4. Let's go and have a look at that. B4 to G4. And we want to change the direction. So There are a number of ways we can right click. We can go format cells. We can go into alignment over here, and we can simply move it that way and say okay, because we've now turned it the other way. So it's reading from the bottom to the top. So remember, right click, format cells, alignment, and this is where we can change that direction. Alternatively, we can go onto the home tab, the alignment section, and change it over here. Right? I can change it that way, or I can change it back up. Okay, so those are the options that are available to you. Doesn't matter which one you use. Wrap the contents of cell E4. The headings in column B to G then appear as follows. So wrap the contents of cell E4, and we want to do it that way. There we go. And you can see what happens when we've got wrap text on or we don't have it on. Okay, you can see the difference there. Right, so far so good. We're moving nicely through this. Next one, format the prices in column C so that no decimal places are shown. So here we have our prices, and obviously first things first, we need to highlight those cells. And one of the simplest ways is to go up to our home tab, to our number section, and use these two items over here, which will allow us to decrease a number by a decimal point, or to get rid of 1 0. And with this one, we can add the zeros, okay, after our decimal point. So there were no decimal points. Done. There we are, sorted. Okay, so 1.6 says I need to calculate in column D the cost per gig for each of the flash disks using their prices and the sizes in gigs from the previous two columns. If I go in here, I can see this is an 8 gig flash drive, and the price of the 8 gig is 70 Rand. So they want me to work out what 1 gig is going to cost if 8 gigs costs 70 Rand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my formula, obviously by going to equals, and I'm going to take the size of the 8 gig and I'm going to divide it by the unit price. And that should give me that answer. Now, if the answer doesn't seem correct, please, with maths, we can just swing this around because that didn't look right. All right, there we go. That looks better. So please be aware of that. Okay, if we're dividing one by the other, and it doesn't look right, just swing those cell references around. And in this case, it would be 8 Rand 75. Now, if I need to copy it down, please remember we can use autofill. All right, that's my little box here in the corner. I can click on it, hold it down, drag it all the way, and I'll get all my answers for column D. Next one, calculating column F, the amount owing for each of the flash disk orders based on the number ordered in column E and the unit price in column C. So column F amount due. I've obviously ordered one 8 gig flash drive at 70 Rand. So what are they saying here again? Based on the number ordered in column E. Okay. And the price in column C. Basically, they want me to take one and multiply it by the other. So I'm going to go equals. I'm going to say the number ordered, and then we're going to put a little asterisk, which is our multiplication sign, multiplied by the unit price, and I'm going to hit enter. Okay, again, I can use my autofill to drag this all the way down, and there I'll get my answers for the entire column. You can see here in the second example, I've ordered 2 at 120 Rand, and that's 240 Rand in total. Okay, let's go back to the question paper. Let's see what they want. 1.8. The amounts paid in column G were accidentally formatted as euros. Change the currency symbol to Rand. Okay, that's simple enough. We're going to highlight that particular column for all those cells. We're going to go up over here under our home tab to our number section, and we're going to make sure it's on currency. There you can see, because my default currency is Rand, if it doesn't change to Rand there, please go to the icon underneath and go and select Rands, and you'll see there it's now displayed as Rands. Okay, so I hope you are still with me. Right, Next one. 1.9. Add a function in cell B25. So let's go to B25. Here we are. And they want us to work out the average cost per gig of a flash disk using the data in column D. So if I'm going to work out the average, you know I'm going to go equals average. Remember, I don't type out just AVG. I'm typing out the whole word. I'm going to open up my bracket and we're going to use the contents of column D. So I'm going to highlight all of these cells over here. I'm going to hit enter. There's my average price. Okay. Let's go on. Add a function in cell B26 to determine the total amount due from column F. Ensure that the results display correctly. So let's go. Total amount due. Column F has got to do with numbers, so we can use a sum formula. Open our bracket. We're going to highlight all the amounts that are in this section or in this column. And this is why they say make sure it displays correctly. Why? Because it is going to be too big for the cell. And we're going to adjust our column so that it does display. Okay, so I hope again you are all still with me. Right. Let's go to the next one. Add a formula into cell B27 to determine the total amount still to be paid in, considering all the payments already made in column G. This is the amount that's due in total. Okay, so we have that amount. What we need is the total amount still to be paid in, and we need to subtract one from the other. So maybe let's start off with a sum formula, and let's highlight everything here under amount paid in, and we hit enter. So this figure now represents everything that has been paid in so far. Okay, but we need to deduct that from the total amount due. So I'm going to go back into my formula, and at the beginning I'm going to say B26, which is the cell above this one, and I'm just going to put in a minus. In other words, what I'm saying here is whatever is in cell B26 must be subtracted from the sum of G5 to G22. I hit enter, and there we go. So please remember, this one was average, and I put in a sum formula to calculate the total amount due. But for our total amount still to be paid in, I had to take the total amount due and subtract that from the amount that was already paid in. Last one, the type of flash drives below 70 Rand. In this case, we're going to use a count if formula. Okay, so we want to count the number of flash drives that are costing less than 70 Rand. So we're going to open our bracket here. We're saying equals count if in this range. Let's highlight that in that range. And I'm going to put in a semicolon. In some cases, it might just be a comma. And we're going to say our criteria is less than 70. Okay, that's my criteria. So we're telling Excel to count if in that range it finds numbers that are lower than 70. I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to give me 12. So I can take those decimals away and just make a display as 12. So there's 12 flash drives that are less than 70 Rand. All right, let's go back. Insert a 3D line graph of your choice. Okay, with the type of flash drive. Type on the x-axis and the price per type on the y-axis. Make sure the graph does not obstruct any information on your worksheet. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is highlight the type of flash drive. And then we're going to hold down the control key, and we're going to select the price column over here. So I've got those two highlighted. And then what I need to do is I need to go to the insert tab, and I'm going to go and see which chart did they want. 3D line graph. So I'm going to look for a line chart over here. Let's see. Go with the first one. 3D column. 3D line. No, that's not what they want over there. 2D line. There we go. A 3D line chart. Okay. So I'm going to click on that. And then I'm just going to move it over to the side. And there we have our 3D line chart. Now, what else do they want? Make sure that the type of flash drive is on the x-axis and the price per type is on the y-axis. So we've got our price, we've got our type here, and we've got our price over there. So that should be fine. And here we can just, change that to flash drives. Okay, any title we want if they don't specify anything. Then we need to insert a new worksheet called shopping list and change the tab color to blue. Over here at the bottom, we're going to click on new sheet. We're going to right click on it, go rename. We want it to be shopping list. Click anywhere else, then right click on it again. Go to the tab color and select any sort of shade of blue. Okay. And yeah, that's what they wanted us to do. So that's our 29 marks from the first question with regards to our spreadsheet. So we can go to that spreadsheet and we can close it. Make sure we've saved the changes and that's done. The next one says open to sales spreadsheet. So let's go to sales spreadsheet. And let's see what they want us to do. So the first thing they say, and this is for what, 13 marks, okay? Change the picture in cell E4. They want us to change that by inserting a border. So let's look at where E4 is. E4 over here. And they want us to add a border to this. So we can right click on it, go format picture. And you can see we've got different effects that we can add. We can add borders. We can add a shadow. We can add artistic effects, any of those sorts of things with our format picture. I'm just going to add a line, which is a solid line around it, which would be our border. And I can adjust the width over there, and I can say I want it to be a black border. Okay, that's how you would put in your border around a particular picture. Let's go back to our question paper. So change the picture by inserting a border to the picture. We have that, but they want it at 1.5. So let's just make sure over here. And there we go, 1.5. Okay, that's done. Use a function in cell H5 to display random numbers for each class of the lucky draw. The values must be generated between 1 and 18. So what's that cell? H5. So we're going to go H5. And remember, we're going to use rand between. And what are the numbers between 1 and 18? Okay, sorry, I think, yeah, I've still got to use that semicolon. And there we go. Okay, so there's my function. Just close this. Zoom in here a little bit. And you can see equals rand between 1 and 18, right? Because they essentially wanted us to generate a random number between 1 and 18. So that's done. Copy the function to all the other records. So all I'm going to do here is just go to my autofill function and just drag it all the way down. And there you can see I've got my random numbers. Use a function in cell L7 to display the highest number of the masks of any kind. L7, let's go have a look here. L7, right? And if we want let's just check the wording here again. They want the highest number of masks, so that's going to be equals max, and that's going to be C5 to F22. We hit enter, and there we've got our 19. Okay, remember, this is based on the range over here. to get the highest number out of that range. In the next one, use a function in cell L10. So we're going to go down to L10 over here to display the number of classes that did not sell any of the sports masks. Now, how do we know they didn't sell any of the sports masks? Well, it's blank. In other words, what are we doing? We are going to count blank, and we're going to use the range F5 to F22, and we can see over here it's this range. Now, why is it that one? Because they're saying display the number of classes that did not sell any of the sports masks. Not all of the sports masks, not all of the masks, but only the sports masks. And then we've got our formula in, and we can hit enter, and there was only one. And if I scroll through that, you can see there's only one blank over there. Right, sort all the data so that the grades are from largest to smallest. Okay, so now to sort and filter from largest to smallest, I'm going to highlight this entire range over here. I can't just highlight that column. Then I'm going to go up to home, all the way over to sort and filter, and select largest to smallest. And this will adjust everything according to this column over here. Okay. Let's look at the next one, last one for this spreadsheet. Prepare the worksheet for printing as follows. Insert your name in the page header. So I don't need to click on anything there. I'm just going to go down to the bottom over here. I'm going to look at the page layout tab or the page layout button. And you can see when I click on that, and there it shows me what the header is. And I can just go and type in my name and go back, just click anywhere else and go back to the normal view. So if I want to enter my header, I've got to go to the middle one, page layout, scroll up to the top. There's the header section, type it in, click anywhere, and then go back to the normal view. And last one, set the page orientation to landscape. And you can see my page layout. I can go orientation, change it to landscape. And there, ladies and gentlemen, that is done with our spreadsheets. Okay, so I'm going to close it, save it. Okay, so now for question 3, which is our last one, and it's dealing with our presentations. We're going to open the presentation 3 wearing. So I've already got that open. And they want us to do a couple of things here. Very simple. First things first, they want us to change the theme of the entire presentation to one of our choice. So I'm just going to click on any theme over here. This is under the design tab. Go to a theme and click on it. Okay. Now, please bear in mind, the theme is going to have an impact on 3.3. Okay. And I'll show you as we go along. Second one says change the slide size to widescreen. So here under the design tab on the right hand side, we've got slide size. Click on that, go to widescreen, and there you can see that has changed. Next thing they want us to do is insert slide numbers and the date into the footer of slides, but it must not display on the first slide. That's fine. We can go to the insert tab. We're going to go to slide number, and we're going to say, put a tick in date and time because that's what we want. We're going to put a tick in slide number because we want the date and time and the slide number. And you can see already where it's previewing. And we don't want it to show on the title slide, which is the first slide. I'm going to click that and then apply to all. There's nothing that's changed on the first slide, but look at the second slide. There's my date. And there's also my slide number. Now you can see the time. It's not there, so I can just go to date and time again and make sure that I've got everything. Okay, so all that is in place, so that's fine. Right. Now, the reason I spoke about the design earlier, look what happens if I change it to this design. Do you see the page number goes on top with the date as well? So please just bear that in mind when you are putting in the design. Just try out a few designs before settling on that to make sure that it is displaying where it needs to. Last thing for this test is to place a link on the last slide. I'm going to go down to the last slide, click on this over here. They want us to place a link on the last slide so that when clicked on, it will go to the first slide. Ensure that the icon of the link will display without a background color. So we can go in here and we're just going to say insert shape. And I'm just going to use any shape for the purpose of this exercise. I'm going to put that over there. And I'm going to right click on it. And I'm going to go to hyperlink. So now with a hyperlink, where do I want people to go to? Do I want them to go to a web page? No. Somewhere in this document? Yes. Where in the document? All the way through to the slide number 1. And I'm going to click OK. Now, it doesn't look like anything's happened here, but have a look at when I go to my presentation view. You can see there's my icon over there, my little shape. Everything is normal here, but when I click on this, it takes me back to my title slide. I can go all the way through my presentation. When I get to the end of it, I can click on that icon, and that has a hyperlink in it that's going to take me all the way back to my first slide. And grade 10s, that is it. That is it for this practical test. Please do go through it, use it as practice, as it's going to help you as we gear towards finals. So all the best and good luck.